Cool, and we are live. I don't know if people have started. I don't know if people have started to come on, but usually by now people would have started to check in. Um, but
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
But they can't hear me, right?
Um, no, they can't hear. Well, they should be able to hear you.
Okay, I'll keep my trap shut.
You can keep your trap working. Why not? I mean, I'm looking at the comment section right now, and I'm seeing like.
Ronnie can't see here. Yeah.
Sorry. Can you
Ronnie
see?
keeping his trap shut. That's not normal to me.
Okay.
What?
Look, I mean, none of us got that. Come on.
All right.
Guy.
Of course, if one's got the biggest. Yeah. Of course, go ahead. Yeah.
What have I got? What have I got?
No, I said you. And I said you are the biggest yacker of all of us. But I
is
mean,
true.
I don't think any one of us is shy by a long stretch of the imagination.
Oh, okay. All right. So yeah, well, it doesn't look like anybody has shown up yet. Usually by now people start checking in. So I guess
I got family who said they would check in, so probably get the timing mixed up. But I've sent them the links and everything.
you have family checking in. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so yeah, this is the live check-in on. This is the live check-in. I do this on Saturday, and the purpose of doing this, for those who checked in into the last episode of the live check-in, was basically this is an opportunity for a conversation with the audience, the people who follow my channel, just to check in and say hi, and mostly discuss what you're cooking this weekend. This weekend is a special weekend because it's the Easter weekend, and because it's Easter, it's a significant weekend for those of us who grew up for one Catholic, but also grew up in the Catholic community of Bandra. The one thing I thought about as we went into this weekend, and I wanted to go, what do I talk about? What do I talk about specifically? I was remembering what it used to be like growing up in Bombay. And when Easter came around, it was always a big celebration. There was always so much to do at Easter time. There was a whole bunch of our entire existence, having gone to a Catholic school and having grown up in the small Catholic community of Bandra in Mumbai. Easter held special significance because it was a 1 month long preparation, and it was 1 month long of events that would happen in church. But what was more interesting to me, obviously, was the food. What was the food that happened? Because it was always an exciting time for me. Mom, being the excellent cook that she was, would start preparing for Easter and making Easter eggs, Easter bonnets, all the great little cute foods that she used to make on Easter time. And so I figured this would be a nice thing to talk about and go down memory lane. I also wanted to invite two other friends along with me. These were the two friends that I grew up with. These we were buddies in school. We went together for pretty much all events, festivities growing up. We moved from preteens to teenagers to post teenagers. We all shared that experience together. And I thought it would be great to bring these two guys to just remember what Easter used to be, and also to discuss about the communities, the sub communities of the Catholic community, the sub Catholic communities, which not many people know about, not many people know the history about. But my community growing up was the East Indians. I was part of the East Indian Catholic community. My two friends were Goan and Mangalorean, and they had, even though we all were part of the same Catholic community, the celebrations, the food, the culture of events, the way things were done, were starkly different in the Mangalorean home and the Goan home. And I just thought it would be great to have sort of a reunion with these two friends of mine and speak about Easter, speak about our communities, and just have a jolly old good time. So let me introduce my friends, the two people who are waiting over here. And here we have them. This is my two friends, Ronnie and Vinay. So Ronnie, say hi, and Vinay, say hi. These are the these are the two blokes that I grew up with. These are the guys who the three of us got into all sorts of trouble. Though they kind of remind me that it was I who got into trouble and these two guys were just the witnesses. It kind of sort of goes to the territory. I've always been sort of mischievous person. And I just thought, like, this is Easter weekend. It's a very different Easter for all of us. It took me down a lane of sort of like a memory lane, because Easter was the time when the extended family would get together and it would be this massive potluck, and one family would say, okay, I'm making the sort patel, I'm making the chicken curries, somebody will be making the fugyas, the sannas, and the fare was so different. It was so much fun being able to gather as a family. And last year and this year has affected that in a big way. And it's something that we miss, and it's something that I wanted to reminisce about and talk about. So I've invited these two friends. Thank you both for joining. This is so good that you can join. I'm going to start with Ronnie. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? What was your life like once you moved out of Bombay, Bandra? I think the last time we saw each other was, say, what was it like from 1995 onward? Just give us a little bit and tell us about yourself, Ronnie.
Okay. Thanks, Irfan, for having me on the show. Can you hear me?
Yes,
clearly?
Absolutely.
Great. So, as you know, like, we grew up in Bandra. It was awesome. We had a great childhood. Grew up with my cousins, and it was a happy childhood, right? And went to Stanislaus, St. Andrews, met all you guys. We hung up in the same groups, and it was awesome. And now most of the school guys, will not recognize me. So for those of you who don't, I used to be called Scrawny Ronnie, if you remember that.
Sorry, now he's the Incredible Hulk Ronnie, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to fucking me.
No, thankfully, Irfan has me cut off from the neck down, or as good old Father Rebus used to call me, Arnie. So that was. How many of you guys remember that? Yeah. So I worked in Bombay for like several years, and then one day I said, let me meet my friend Irfan Dama in Canada. So I took a trip all the way to Canada. Yes, met up with Irfan, who convinced me to pack up my bags and move to Canada. So I'm here in Canada, and where the hell are you, Irfan?
Oakland, California. Oh my God! So Ronnie, you're in Canada. How long have you been in Toronto, in the Toronto greater area?
Just over 10 years.
Just over 10 years.
Yeah.
Wow, man. I totally missed out. Let's go to the other character on the screen. Let's talk about Vinay. Vinay, tell us about your journey. We grew up together in Bombay, and then you took off and you made it to the US. So tell us briefly about yourself and how things work for you. There's Vinay.
Hi everyone. So yes, Irfan, Ronnie, and I were good friends when we were in school in Bombay. Uh, we had a great childhood. I remember that I would say, the straightest of the three, and Irfan, of course, as you would imagine, got us into all sorts of trouble. And and yeah, so so it was really fun because Irfan really taught me the fun things in life, to break the rules. But I don't think there was any rules for Irfan. But thank you for that because it actually helped me sort of become out of myself. So I came to the U.S. I came to New York when I was 24. But I was came from a very sheltered background. I never left the country before that. So for me to leave the country on my own and to come to a new country was very different. I had Indian food. I love Mangalorean food and Indian food. I remember once my mom was not well during Easter or Christmas, and she said, "Hey, can you guys cook?" And my sister made, some Western dish, and I hated it. I said, "No, where's my curry? Where's my spice?" And then I get transplanted. I never cooked a bit in my life. No, sorry. You know what? I've fried an egg, right? So that's the extent of what I cooked, right? And then I land in the U.S. and then I have no idea, like to eat outside, you just get Western food. I hated it, so I had to learn to cook, and so I learned to cook from scratch by speaking on the phone to my mom, saying, "Hey, mom, how do I make chicken curry? How do I do this and that?" Uh, so it was a big transition for me to move from India to the West. What I really missed was friends and family. That is the most important thing. And of course, now having been here for 20 years, it's fantastic. But yeah, I mean, now we sort of do all sorts of cuisines, but it's interesting. And so you move first from your traditional stuff, then you move to the Western stuff, and then after that, recently during the pandemic, you want to get back to your roots. So I've been making a lot of the old traditional. In fact, my wife Swapna and we've gone back to our roots. She's making her old traditional stuff. We're making our old traditional stuff, really going back to our roots and really taking comfort from those kinds of foods.
That's awesome. As you can see, Chesley is saying hi, so that's awesome. This looks like
Hey, Jess, how are you doing?
it's gonna be a bit of a reunion of the old gang, and
Yeah, I see Chesley. I see family members also out here. So it's great to see all you guys.
that's
Mikhail,
awesome, man.
yeah.
That is so awesome. That's so awesome. Thank you for those for those who are coming who are tuning in right now. Thank you so much for joining the three. We are the three of us. We call ourselves the Insufferable Inseparables. That's the name of our chat group, and we stay together and we chat quite often. But yeah, this is so good to have these great memories. I'm so glad that Vinay, you are going back to your the traditional foods that you used to make. Tell us some of the things that you make. You've shared it a lot with us, but why don't you tell the audience some of your favorite dishes that you make, Vinay?
Well, I mean, I make appams. I love appams, and I've actually made sanas a couple of times. But I would say that to make sanas is far harder than making appams. But yeah, I mean that's some of my favorite things that I do. So that with pork buffet, something that I have not managed to make that my sister does really well, is churros. And she does that in Australia, but I've not managed to do that as yet.
Pork buffet. So have you made sanas? And
Yes, I made sanas, roast curry. I do all the time. In fact, my wife quite likes my roast curry. In fact, yeah, I mean, I think now after 20 years, I think I'm pretty decent at that now. Finally, but it tastes nothing like my mom's curry. Okay,
Oh,
she's
wow.
still the best. She's still awesome, but so I have my own roast curry that I do. Yeah, it's pretty good.
that's nice. So it's your roast curry. Tell me more about the roast curry.
Roast curry. Roast curry is coconut milk curry, right? So yeah, So it's fried onions, you put coconut milk, and yeah, there are a bunch of spices. You got to roast the masala. Then recently I made something called kori kachpu. I don't know how do you pronounce that word, but it's like dried chicken with some curry leaves, and it's really spicy. It's got the red beki chilies, and yeah, it's yeah. So recently I've been getting a lot more into that, and it's really fun.
Oh,
Okay,
nice.
I'm just reading these comments out here. They're quite hilarious. Some of these guys. Good to see you, Chesley, Ian, Ramina. Hey, Vinay, I have a question for you, Vinay.
Oh, we haven't changed a bit. Come on. Listen,
Wow.
I mean, I've lost a lot of hair, a lot of hair, right?
Inca Dama, how can we forget you?
Yeah, Inga, you should see Inga's comment, and she's like, three of you totally ignored.
Oh,
It was kind of I don't know, it must have been rather sad growing up as Inca with having a brother who's 9 years older, going through the teenage years of because when we were 14 and 15, Inca was what? She was like 4 and 5. She was at this annoying age, but I can say this. I know she doesn't want me to say this, but I'm going to say it. She had the biggest crush on Vinay. But then who didn't at that time? Everyone would like, Vinay would walk down the streets and hearts would be flying all over the place because I was like, Vinay is so cute, he's so hot, he's so smart, he's so everything. And so my poor sister used to come and be like, oh, the boys are here, and we were like, Inka, get out, we're talking about really life and death matters. And that's, some girlfriend did not look at us sideways when we were walking and our hearts were crushed.
Inca was really cute.
Oh, she is so cute. So at least now we're not ignoring you, Inca. Ronnie, some of your foods. Like Vinay told us some about the roast curry. What were your favorite foods growing up in a Goan household? I'm gonna put the guitar away.
Yeah, again, I mean, sannas, I think, crossed over from, I don't know, Goan. So we also in Goa have sannas with us. So Easter did comprise of having sannas and traditional pork dishes like either sorpatel or vindaloo, along with maybe a beef dish like beef rolls. I remember my aunts making these awesome beef rolls, right? And my mother had these great green masala mutton chops she used to come up with. So these things all like stuck in my head, right? And I miss these things out here as well. I mean, Janice makes a great mean chicken shakuti and chicken kafrial, etc. But I miss some
that
of
sounds
the
amazing. You know what? I'm coming over.
dishes. Yeah, but Vinay, you gotta tell me how you make sannas, man, because I don't know where the hell you get toddy in
Dude,
North America.
kafrial, I haven't had kafrial in so many years, Ronnie. I want to come to your house just for that.
You're most welcome,
Amazing.
Vinay, anytime. You know that.
Sorry, Ronnie. You know what? I've cut you off a second time. So you want to finish your conversation? Go ahead. I like the limelight.
This is a chit chat, man, and you always you can jump in anytime you want. So, yeah, well, Easter was great. When my grandmother was around back in the day, it was she was pretty conservative and pretty strict, right? So, and Easter was very important to her at that point of time. So, right from Shrove Tuesday or Pancake Tuesday, where she used to make these awesome pancakes, right? And then followed by a period of like just vegetables and fish. And then, of course, we had the Easter spread out there. So, yeah, great times.
Sorry, Ronnie, I'm just distracted because it's like the old times again. All the women are like, Vinay, blow me a kiss for old times' sake. And we are trying to have an intelligent conversation, and all the women are like, oh, Vinay.
Okay, if you call
This
this
is an
intelligent,
intelligent
yeah,
conversation.
right.
Sorry, I didn't know this was an intelligent conversation. Okay.
Cool.
Oh, Inca. Yeah, just going through the comments is pretty funny.
Hey, Ronnie, I like your parrots here. Your parrots were really amazing. When
I was wondering why Vinay is blowing me a kiss, and I'm saying, what the hell? Like, then I read the comment. Okay, it's Inca Dama. Thank God. Oh yes, Chesley, Vindaloo Sorpatel. I did have to go back there again, but I'll let Irfan take you down the visual path a little later.
So yeah, I mean, the one thing that I found very very striking was the Goan sorpatel is vastly different from the East Indian sorpatel.
East Indian.
And the East
Oh,
Indian
okay.
sorpatel is made with bottle masala, and the Goan sorpatel is made with just a whole bunch of different spices. But which is like, there's no set, there's lots of chilies and stuff. But Ronnie, do you ever make sorpatel? And if you do you do the original sorpatel?
No,
So
no, Ronnie does
yeah,
something even better. Ronnie, come on. What do you do? Tell him what do you do. This is really amazing.
Tell me,
what's
Ronnie.
No,
that?
no.
Okay,
Go
no.
for it,
So
Ronnie.
okay, I'll answer Irfan first. So I don't make it myself. Of course, Janice makes it these days. Recipes handed down from my mother, and it's more the traditional Goan, which is I think a little on the sweeter side than the East Indian sorpatel. And we also use Goa vinegar, so we have to like sometimes smuggle Goa vinegar into Canada. So I have a stock of Goa vinegar in the house currently, and Janice makes a mean sorpatel, right? That's really good. But of late,
Nice.
I've made Goa sausages. So that's one thing I've got. I got the vinegar from Goa. I got the casing also from Goa, and
Can you believe that?
got
Amazing, amazing.
got the recipes, and yeah, made some awesome Goa sausages. Go through that like
That's what about the
Yeah, I had it
spices?
once. Yes, yes. I mean, I think once when I visited Ronnie, I think I probably had some leftovers, and they were really amazing. But they were like that little, and like I was really mad at Ronnie. I'm like, come on, Ronnie, I'm coming to Canada. You have to have a lot more for me.
right. It's a lot of work, man. It's like I mean, cutting the pork is crazy. I mean, I buy it from Costco, so I come back with these humongous pork pieces, and you got to have some fat in it and some lean meat, and cutting it up is the worst part actually. The rest is just takes time over over there.
I'm just digging the comments, man. Vinay is like the
I know.
star of the show. It's always the
Amir
case.
Khan.
Always the
Yeah, you
case.
always
Amir
say
Khan, man. I remember
you
the
always
Amir
say
Khan
my
episode
Fidki
of
again.
Goa.
Yeah, come on.
Oh my god, this is just like growing up all over here. We'd go to a party and Ronnie and I would be the little wallflowers over there. We'd be trying to jive extra loud and extra crazy, and it doesn't matter. All the women are just flocking to Vinay.
Where were you the wallflower? When were you the wallflower ever, Irfan?
Exactly, exactly. Look, he was the one with the most action. We were all talk. He was the one with the action.
Okay, this show is not like over 18, so just wanted to put it out there. We might have to censor it if you go down that path, but hey.
Wait, now how old is Inca right now? Has Inca from 4 years old? Okay, yeah, okay. 18 plus.
Nice. This is so cool, guys. And I wanted to. I just also wanted to bring out like when we were chatting the other day, we were speaking about the three communities and Ronnie being Goan, and it's like it is so interesting that we all were all part of the Catholic community, but being East Indian, Goan, and Mangalorean, there was such difference and there was such diversity. But what I thought was pretty interesting was how did the East Indians get their name for the community? The Goans are pretty simple. They're from Goa. Mangaloreans are pretty simple, from Mangalore. The Mangalorean Catholics happened because of the persecution of the Portuguese against the people who did not want to assimilate into the Portuguese culture. And thus, those who were persecuted, those who were discriminated against, moved down and formed their own community in Mangalore and worked with the Shetty community, and which is why the Mangaloreans, having worked closely with the Shetties, have grown into such an industrious business community. And this is what I find interesting is that in the Mangalorean community, there is still that adherence to the old Indian ways. The women still wear the Mangal Sutra. There is old Indian traditions still mixed in beautifully with the Mangalorean community. The Goan community, on the other hand, are very, very Portuguese. They change in terms of the names being Portuguese. Obviously, Vinay is an Indian name, and it's like the names were Indian, but with the Goans, the names were really out there. From Ronnie to some of them were, what are the names, Ronnie? You were telling me some friends of yours, Concession, Conception, Assumption. These would be the names of your friends.
We just call them Patkar and Patrao now. Oh, Makapao.
Makapao, all Makapaos. I mean, I'm curious to know, how did the term Makapao come about? There are so many theories behind that. But the question is, how did we end up with the name East Indians when we are actually in the west of India? We have no connection to the east of India, but our community is called the East Indians. And that's because we were all employees of the East India community. Not all, but when the British set up the East India community in Bombay, there was a lot of job employment, a lot of job opportunities for those who were able to speak English. And the Catholic community, having been converted and having gone to schools that were English medium schools, had this advantage. And all of a sudden, from a lower middle to a very poor class, the Catholic community began to see prosperity and they began to see growth because of the East India Company. And because there were so many jobs, the Goans and the Mangaloreans are like, hey, let's move to Bombay. There's lots of money to be made. And as they moved up, the Bombay Catholics go like, hey, no, this is not cool. We are the original sons of the soil. What are these guys doing here? And so this community and this rivalry began to happen. Those are Goans, those are Mangaloreans, but we are the true ones. So to distinguish the community, took on the name East Indians because we are the original ones that were supposed to be getting jobs in the East India Company. And that's how I thought that piece of history was quite amusing, because I, for the longest time, didn't know how the heck am I an East Indian when I've never even been to the east of India. I've never even seen Calcutta, which is a tragic shame, but hey. So I also read in an article that the East Indians from the Catholic community in Calcutta, they're known as the Northeast Indians. And we're just the East Indians. So to kind of go down this path. But it was interesting and amazing, and I wanted you guys to come up here and talk about it, because Easter was something very family oriented. We always were with our family. So I ate some of the best food at your places, but Easter was always with our family, and hence we were talking about what are your memories of Easter. So Ronnie, tell me, what are some of the things that you cherished the most at Easter time growing up, whether it was food, whether it was what are the things that bring back those fond memories of Easter?
So for Easter, the memories I have, again, it's from back in the day when my grandmother was alive, and she ran a pretty tight ship. So right, starting from the pancakes, well, we used to call them ale beles. Know how you pronounce that, or how it translates to English. But the traditional pork dishes, as I said, sarpatel, vindaloo, right? Going to church. Don't forget the marzipan Easter eggs. Oh, I used to love the marzipan Easter eggs, and used to actually steal quite a few of them, And my cousins used to make them as well, and later on, and I used to still steal them, and they used to make them. Some of them never got into the shaping stage, as they were just eaten fresh, straight out of the pan they were being made from, rather. And I remember the desserts we used to have. Goan desserts. Oh, yeah. We had a thing called won, which is, I think, something with lentils and Goan jaggery or something. But I used to love having hot won, like after, Easter lunch or something. So those memories are there. And of course, my mom's trifle, the green mutton chop curry. And these comments are just popping up all over my screen.
That's nice. What was that drink you were saying? It was a fermented drink?
Fermented?
The one. Tell me more about the one.
So won, and I believe the Mangaloreans also may have something like this as well.
Yes, it's warm.
Yeah, so I think it's made from lentils. And we use coke. I don't know if there's coconut and there's a little Goan jaggery in it or something. And it's made into like a little slurry of sorts, and then you basically drink it up with a spoon or something, or eat it with a spoon.
Oh, you eat, so it's like a dessert.
Yeah, dessert. Yes.
Oh, okay. So I thought it was.
So it's like a payasam. So it's like a payasam. So it's got some lentils. It's got some jaggery. So Ronnie, we use a Mangalorean jaggery for us, not the Goan jaggery.
Just for the down south.
Yes, and then
south.
And then coconut milk from Mangalore, by the way, not from Goa and not from Bombay.
No.
So that's the traditional way we make it. Yeah.
Oh my
We get it handpicked from the coconut trees, fresh from our own property coconut trees in Goa.
Exactly. Now, what we used to do is that we used to have the coconuts picked from the property in Mangalore,
Shipped down
graded,
to
and then
Bombay.
frozen and then shipped. Yeah, frozen and then shipped down to Bombay. Yeah. So
Wow.
they were fresh frozen.
Yeah, as the
Nice.
Inca says, the Mangaloreans are basically just Goans who fled down to Mangalore. That's it.
We were the persecuted ones. You were the persecuted ones, right? That's fine.
I was gonna say Mangaloreans haven't lost that. We were persecuted, we're gonna make it back again. We're gonna
Well,
make
yeah.
they come and thrash all of us in their achievements, in their jobs, in their businesses that they come and set up in Bombay.
Oh yeah, don't forget Bibika. Thanks, Inca, for reminding me. Yeah, I did forget about Bibika. My aunt,
Oh, I love
Goa,
Vivek.
I think,
Yeah.
I believe she's out here. Auntie Bella, she used to make. She still makes, I guess, an awesome Bibika. I think it's with different, like 5 to 7 layers, and it's a tedious process, but the end result is like just melt in your mouth deliciousness.
Oh my God. My dad used to say that it's a shame that East Indians and Goans don't get along because there's a perfect symbiosis. Every time the Goan household makes bibinka, which is made with egg yolks, all the egg whites can be donated to the East Indian household for which you can make thali sweet. It would be such a wonderful symbiosis. But because we're always fighting, it's like, nope, I will not give my egg whites to the East Indian house. Nope, not happening. And same with East Indians. Nope, my egg yolks are my egg yolks. I'll make omelets with it, but not give it to the Goan household.
Oh, I've had lovely food at both your guys' places, man. Your moms are awesome cooks as well. It was great
Dude,
growing up.
Oh, yeah, great. Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, Vinay, I was introduced to sannas at your mom's place, and if Auntie Charlotte is watching it, I want to give a hello to Auntie Charlotte and a shout out because she introduced me to sannas and some of the best spicy, delicious food that I've had. It kind of opened my eyes to the food that's beyond what you would get in that small East Indian in my East Indian home and community. I absolutely and there's something about sannas that I fell in love with, and so actually I am for this Easter when we say what y'all cooking, I am going to be making Goan Vindalu and
Oh wow!
sannas.
Oh, really? Wow, that's amazing.
So yeah,
So how do you get
sorry, go
how do you
on.
get toddy? How do you get toddy in North America again?
So here's the thing. I did some research. I researched a lot of YouTube videos. You don't get toddy, but you can make your own toddy. And I saw that one
Okay.
recipe, and I thought it was really interesting, and it actually is. It is when you say scientifically sound, because I break down a recipe and I go like, okay, why if you do this, then how does it affect the end product? It is actually sound if you take regular coconut water like you get Zico's coconut water. Inca says your mother will disown you.
No sacrilege, man.
What sacrilege? Go on food paste.
We win. We are ekdam number one.
Hey, 1 second. The sannas, the
Hey,
sannas are
Sannas are
no.
Mangalorean, yeah?
It is
Sannas are
true.
Mangalorean. Come on.
However, all the recipes that I looked at, the toddy sannas are Goan sannas, and the Mangalorean sannas are different in the sense they have saw so many recipes where they use rice and lentils, so it's almost like a Mangalorean idli. But like what regular
We don't.
idlis are fermented just by urad dal, the combination of rice and urad dal. If you put in methi seeds and you have that, urad dal and the methi seeds itself are fermenting agents that cause it to rise. But the Mangalore, I saw a recipe for Mangalorean sannas where it was rice and dal and they fermented it with yeast. All the sanna recipes that I saw were yeast fermented, but there was this one, and I will post the link. I should have actually taken the link, or should have recognized the YouTube, the YouTube creator that put this recipe up, which I thought was really fascinating. I'll put the link in the description below later. He showed us how to make toddy by heating up regular coconut water. So I'm supposing like the regular Zico or whatever coconut waters that you get, you warm it up to sort of like lukewarm temperature, which is probably above 120 to 130 Fahrenheit. And then you add yeast to that, yeast and sugar, and you let it bloom. So at the same time when you start soaking your rice for the sannas is when you you put the yeast in the warm coconut water and just let it go overnight. And in the morning, the next day, or when we finish the soaking, the yeast has fermented the coconut and you have made toddy, which can be used in sannas. And I looked at the recipes. I did a small test batch yesterday, and I made it with rice, raw rice, cooked rice, and I added yeast to it and sugar, and it came out really, really well. But I'm very curious to try this sannas where you make it with toddy that you make yourself. So I'll be experimenting with that and I'll be posting results on the channel. I just thought it was really fascinating for those sannas to be made when you make your own toddy, because over here we don't have access to the ingredients that we used to back home. So
Do you
I'll
have the
share that
steamer?
with
Do you have the?
you. You are really.
I guess you do.
I know I don't actually. I don't
How are you
have a
making
steamer.
them?
So okay, so here's the deal. I have one of those small steamers that you get that is nothing close to the idli steamer, just like a small steamer that I put in. I put them in. I put the batter in these little katoris and I steamed them. But the steamer is so small that I can only get 3 sannas at a time.
Oh,
Yeah, well,
okay.
And that is bullcrap. I mean, like, 3 sannas just go off in the tasting itself. Man, you make the 3 sannas, you steam it for 10 to 15 minutes, and it's like, crap, I'm going to be spending the whole day away if you don't have the steamer. So I am experimenting. I'm not posting it because I've not got results, but I went to the restaurant supply store, and you get those aluminum pans or chafing dishes that when you go on a picnic, right? You take these aluminum square pans and you fill it with food and you take it to a party. Do you familiar with those?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I basically have an idea to take one big one and 2 small ones. In the 2 small ones, holes will be punched, right? Sitting over the top of the big one, in which there will be water.
Okay.
Over a stove, bring it to boil, wrap the whole thing in foil and plastic wrap so it seals the steam. And as for the katoris, which I don't have, you can get foil muffin, the foil muffin wrappers that you would use. You get them in parchment, but you can find them in foil. So I made it and it actually turned out really nice. I did a small test batch. So now I'm going to do a makeshift steamer. And if my calculations are right, I should be able to get like at least a couple of dozen sannas at a time using complete disposable material that you get from the restaurant store. So that's
Wow,
going to
that's
be
awesome.
that's going to be my experiment today as I make sannas. But yeah, so on the menu is going to be Vindalu. Sorpatel is going to be at Christmas. Vindalu and sannas is going to be mine, and I'll keep posting.
Wow.
Keep
That
posting.
sounds really great.
Yeah. Ronnie,
So
what do you
do
make?
you use raw rice?
Sorry.
Sorry, so do you use raw rice or do you use boiled rice? Because we use boiled rice.
Now we're talking boiled
nice.
rice. Are you talking parboiled rice? Or are you talking about cooked boiled rice?
It's parboiled rice. Yeah.
Right. So I made a batch yesterday with ponni rice, which is the idli rice, and I believe that is a parboiled rice, and it came out really good.
Okay.
But the recipe that I used 2 cups of ponni rice and 1 cup of cooked ponni rice together.
Okay.
Went in the batter, ground together. Now I didn't have the fresh coconut, and I don't have the wherewithal to grind the coconuts or get coconuts ground, but I used coconut powder, and I got really good results from it. It was like, and then the coconut ratio was pretty high because it was 2 cups of raw rice, 1 cup of cooked rice, and 1 cup of coconut that went in. So it's like a very coconut rich mixture that I ground and fermented with yeast. And
Nice.
they were super soft, super spongy, and I was very pleased with the results. I also tried making brown rice sannas and I failed horribly because
Brown rice sannas.
I used medium grain rice, and medium grain rice is very, very starchy, and so it became like very, very pasty like. Yeah, but that was, so it's gonna be Vindalu and sannas, and every week I like to give a shout out, and so this week I'm gonna give a shout out to the person who wrote this book. It's called The Best of Goan Cooking by Gilda Mendonça.
Gilda Mendonça, okay.
I could not, so I don't remember where I got this book, but it is literally, it is this work of someone who, you can tell that it's just try to see if I can show you guys. It's the work of someone, this is the book cover, and it's the work of someone who has really painstakingly put all these recipes together over time. It's something beautiful to. This is something, and this is why the shout out. I wish I could find a link that I would put down and say this is a really really good book, just because you can see that this is done by someone who actually loves the craft of cooking and loves the culture that she came from. It's not glossy, it's not shiny and beautiful. It is just hard work, and that's why I wanted to just say work like this really makes me very happy to see true passion come out on paper.
Is it on Amazon? Is it available on Amazon?
It isn't, but if I can find this link, I will definitely put it on Amazon. And if anywhere on this planet Gilda Mendonça is watching this, I just have to say awesome work, and hopefully someday I will have the same tenacity and patience to put together all the recipes the way she has, and taken very cute. It's not a professional work. There is something beautiful about the effort that went into it, and there's something beautiful about that. You can see the raw passion of just documenting recipes, and to me that is something absolutely beautiful.
No, it's great coming from you, since you've tried and tested these recipes.
Say that, Ronnie.
Ronnie, challenge accepted.
Of course, because I'm just saying, because once you have somebody recommending recipes from a book, that means they've tried and tested them. And I'm a fan of any recipe which is tried and tested, right? Otherwise, you can pick up any book and then you try it flops. But when you have other people who have tried it and it comes out awesome, so that, and especially like from chefs like Dama, etc. So, yeah, Vinay, of course, we're gonna have a
Ronnie is going to cook himself. Ronnie, I want your recipes too, dude. Look, I know we'll have recipes, but Ronnie is the silent guy, so I want Ronnie also to have his own.
I'm reading the comments, and I have to agree with Inka on this one, because if Irfan's making toddy, I don't see it ending up in sannas. It's just going to go down the gullet, exactly. Like, why would you put it in sannas, man? It's a rare commodity.
Okay,
rare.
Here's the thing, Inka. When you make a batch of toddy, you only need a couple of cups. What do you think happens with the rest of it? You think I'm going to make a couple of cups of toddy? Are you kidding me? I'm going to be making a big gallon. I'm going to be like wasted at the end of it.
Oh, I see my aunt has commented, Gilda will be smiling from heaven. Okay, may she rest in peace.
Oh, do you know that she's passed away?
Yeah, apparently my aunt seems to know her. I mean, Goa.
Really?
Yeah. My aunt's quite big in the Goan community group when it comes to food. So I guess she probably knows her. Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. Oh, I just want to put that. Thank you, Julie, for this is your aunt, Julie, Ronnie?
Yeah. Vinay and I stayed with her. I don't know whether I'm sure you met her in Goa, but Vinay and I stayed at her place a couple of days. Remember, Vinay, when you won the jackpot at the casino? No, it was.
Oh, yes.
Karandulem. Yeah.
Yes. I remember that day. We ran out from the casino because I won a massive jackpot on the slots, and there was like all this money coming out, and we're like, okay, we should just take the money and done. So we ran.
Take the money and run in case you get followers from the casino and get it back.
But how do we come running back? We took a bus. Stop by stop back to our home. Because of course, Mangies are too cheap to take a taxi home.
Mangies are too cheap to take a taxi home.
Despite winning the jackpot.
Inka is saying, Vinay, why aren't you thinking of making this a business? I mean, she knows who's the business person is in the family. She's like, okay, brother has a business, but no, Vinay is the person who will successfully own one. Brother will have a business, but it may not be successful. But if Vinay does it will be successful because he's Mangi.
You also had a brand, right, of Eastern Masala, I think, something you used to make a mother, a base sauce. Oh,
I do. That was that was made with the base sauce that was
Good.
working. Oh, she says yes. Ron passed away some years back. May she
Oh,
rest in
oh,
peace. Okay, well then that's really sweet. I'm glad that I could bring this up. But this really touched me as such. And yeah, I'll speak about. I'm moving away from the sauce because since we're talking about this book, I just have to. The one thing that really kind of got me uh, when I said this is like so cute was she has written a poem about Sorpatel.
oh. Okay.
Just and so it's like I'm sure that when I make Sorpatel again I'm going to recite this, but it goes like this: for the hodgepodge known as haggis, let the Scotsman yearn or yell. For the taste of Yorkshire pudding, let the English family dwell. For the famed tandoori chicken that Punjabis praise like hell, but for us who hail from Goa, there's nothing like Sorpatel. From the
Oh, wow.
bigwigs in Colaba to the small fry in Cavell, from the growing tribes in Bandra to the remnants in Parel, from the lovely girls in Glaxo to the boys in Burma Shell, there's no Goan whose mouth won't water when you talk of Sorpatel. And oh, for Christmas dinner, don't you think it would be swell by some freak of fortune or by some magic spell? We could all have in Goa a bottle of Kajel or Kajel and toddy leavened sannas to go with Sorpatel. I thought that was so cute.
That is nice, man. That is
So,
good.
so this is to Gilda who's smiling down
Amazing.
at us from heaven. What an
An awesome
amazing
tribute.
what an amazing piece of work this Best of Goan Cooking book is. And so the recipes for I didn't find one for the sannas, but I didn't look hard enough. But I'm going to make the Vindaloo. The Sorpatel is a great recipe, but I'm going to do that at Christmas time, and I'll revisit this again. Though I think by that point I may have to do the East Indian Sorpatel, otherwise I will really be disowned and probably smacked the 6 ways till Sunday by my mother, who's like, "How
Excommunicated.
could you?" Excommunicated. All right, Vinay. So this week, so we're gonna wrap this up. This was supposed to be a half-hour show, but I think we're just having way too much fun. But Vinay, what are you making? What's on the menu for Easter?
Well, we're not going Indian this time because we go Indian a lot of times, but because in the pandemic we did all Indian. Now we're going Western this time, and so we're having some roast chicken. We're having some sugar snap pea, some radish, and some nice chocolate cake. And by the way, I also made marzipan myself.
Oh,
Marzipan
wow.
Easter eggs
What?
myself. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
Casual,
Now,
casual almond.
casual.
Ah, man,
Now,
awesome.
however, I don't know. This was my first time, and it sucked, right? So the batch was a little bit too hard because I think I overcooked it. But it was a good first chance. I mean, the first pass, and hopefully I'll get better over time.
No, no,
nice.
for sure, man. That's awesome.
This is
Our
what
side,
this is what Inca has just said. By the way. Yep, Inca. Inca, are you sure you're not Mangalorean? Ronnie,
she's really eyeing that Rosenthal collection, man.
seriously, she really is. Ronnie, so what are you making? So what's on your menu? Ronnie is such an amazing cook. You show us so many recipes or so many pictures that you post. I'm like, dang, this is like both you and Vinay have like turned out to be excellent chefs. But Ronnie, what's on the menu this Easter?
So during the pandemic, I actually honed my Chinese cooking skills, which is pretty simple actually. It's just stir fried in the wok. But for Easter, I'm not going traditional. I'm going more Canadian this time, and going to have pretty good weather tomorrow. So I think it calls for a barbecue. So I've got a piece of cedar
Ooh.
plank. I've got a piece of salmon, which I'm going to throw on the grill, along with a few veggies. I've got some sweet potato fries and a Costco salad. And
Yay!
to chase all that up, I have this amazing Indian dessert, which is handcrafted by this Punjabi guy. You probably know him from Brampton, called Brars or Nanaks. I know them. So that's basically in the freezer at the moment.
Nice.
Very nice.
Got some frozen rasmalai.
That's
Excellent.
fantastic.
Excellent.
That's really really cool. Yeah, for me it's going to be the Goa style vindaloo, and I think I probably will talk about it as I make it, but I think the biggest difference between the Goa style and the East Indian style vindaloo is the addition of onions. And
I thought
Gilda
sugar, man.
Mendoza's book. Sorry.
I thought it's sugar. Don't go and use some sugar into the
Mm,
dish.
I think so. I think it's there in the recipe. I mean, I know my mom doesn't use. The
Oh,
other,
okay.
the other ingredient that I thought was, which stood out was mustard seeds. So the mustard seeds are ground and mixed in, and I just thought that kind of adds a really interesting sort of complexity when you have mustard seeds in there like that. It just kind of adds a certain pungency without adding the capsaicin heat. And so that is that's what's going to be the experiment this year. And I kind of like the idea that, see, mom's recipes, you take the pork, you marinate it, and then you just slow cook it till it becomes well, I say slow cook it, sometimes mom says pressure cook it, and I'm like, no, but but I like what Gilda says in her book where
I
she
love pressure cookers.
Oh, I
I
do
love it.
too. I do too. But when it comes to meat, it depends what I cook. It's if I'm using meat like pork butt, that the benefits of slow cooking is far outweighs the convenience of the pressure cooker. But what she goes over here in this is after the marination of the pork, you sear it on the pan first. You sear it like, and then you add the onions to it, and then you cook down the onions with that, and then you slow cook it down. And that to me seems very interesting because the onions will add sweetness, body, and also the pork, by searing it, will get the caramelization effect. And I just like that recipe that goes in. So that's what's gonna be my Easter cooking. Cool. This
Great.
has been so much fun, guys. I just also had to point out that the reason my sister was asking me why are you playing guitar on a cooking show, and I go, well, if you go to any commercial kitchen, at least any commercial kitchen that I've worked in America, there is not a single kitchen that does not have music playing in the background. It's what keeps the cooks going. Music has got a certain rhythm, and all the cooks, they get into the mood and they get into the rhythm as they cook, as they cut, as they chop. And music is a very integral part of a chef's life, and that's where the music comes in together with cooking. So that's why I began with the guitar for while I waited for people to show up. But I also wanted to point out that these two characters that are here right now are the reason I play guitar. It all began with that Vinay over there.
Vinny and Rhinestone Cowboy,
It
man.
always starts with me, and then I stop, and then you guys take it to the nth game, right?
Well,
For me, I
Irfan's taking it
started
to the
talking
next
about a
level
month.
quickly.
Vinay was the first one to start playing guitar. I mean, I was the son of a guitar protege. And I showed
Oh, yeah.
zero talent for guitar. And I'm Hamid's son, dude. Like, that guy is like the rock protege of the rock icon of Bandra. And his son has like 0.0 guitar skills. And
It
then
was the
Ronnie
Bill
makes
Haley of Bandra, right?
the Bill
It was
Haley of
called the Bill
Bandra.
Haley, yeah, the Bill Haley of Bandra. I remember it.
Oh my
Coming to
God.
your house and watching your dad play, and like all of us, like, wow.
He-
If you could play half that good, like our life is made.
Seriously, you remember Ronnie when we had started playing guitar, and it was at one of my parties, and it was like all our friends were there, and you and I were trying to get the party going, and we were playing guitar, and like not getting a peep. And then my dad sitting over there with his hand, like he's so embarrassed, like this is my song. And then finally he goes like, "Here, give me the guitar." He takes the guitar. Three freaking chords here, just three chords. The party is jumping, the neighbors are complaining, the women are driving, and both Ronnie and I are looking at each other going
Oh
like,
my God, the songs
How?
that dad taught us, like right from
How?
House of the Rising Sun to
California Dreamin'.
California Dreaming, that song with Bapachi Gan inside it. Am I allowed to say that on the air? I don't know.
Well,
Bleep it out.
I suppose you could. Babachigan is more like it's more like a rhythm. Like Babachigan, Babachigan, Babachigan.
Yeah.
That's how it's
We had some
supposed to
great
be.
time.
We had
Great
some.
times at your place, man.
Well, I gotta say this, man. That's it's rounding up and almost we've always been on this for an hour. It's half an hour more than what we've gotten, but what a fun gathering! Thank you guys so much for joining. This has been great. If anybody, we're going to start wrapping up right now. Ronnie, Vinay, do you have any messages for the people who tuned in to say hi? Do you have anything to say? Ronnie, let's start with you.
Sure. First of all, Irfan, I hope the check's in the mail.
This is when I become angry, dude.
I like that.
Just going to wish all family and friends who are watching it out here. I know there's a lot of names I see out on this chat. Wish you all a blessed Easter.
Thank you.
Over to you, Vinay.
Over to Vinay.
Well, Irfan, thanks very much for having us. It was really fun. It was really fun to just chat, all of us together. And for all the folks online, wish you a very happy Easter. I mean, you can take the India out. You can take the India out, but you can never take our hearts back from where we are. And we still miss India a lot. We still miss the food, and we try to sort of replicate what we did there here. But we always have the culture and the memories with us.
Ronnie, there's a message for you. Did you see that?
As I said, I still haven't received your check. Okay. Why don't you pick up a song, Irfan, and the two of us can join in. So any song you pick, we can join in. Inka, feel free to join in from your side as well.
I'm gonna sing a beautiful romantic song that someone sings after a night of binge drinking, and then he goes home and he realizes he's in the doghouse, and so he goes, "Darling, open the door, darling, open the door. Why are you angry so?"
Oh wow! Okay, that brings back memories, man. That really brings back memories.
A lot of memories.
Oh my God! Darling, open the door, darling, open the door. Why are you angry so?
We're singing this at every party, every picnic, everywhere.
Oh my God. I have to say that one of my friend Edmar, I don't think he's on, he's in Canada, but when I first moved, a fresh immigrant, fresh off the boat at Edmar's place, and Edmar is beautifully musical. He now runs the church choir, he leads the church choir. His voice is truly angelic. He's trained, and at his house, we're having a sing-song, and you know the song I bring out? Bang, bang, Lulu. Lulu's gone away. and still reminds me, like, you sang Bang, bang, Lulu at my house. The house was just completely...
Wait, sprinkling holy water on you or something. Throw holy water all across Irfan. Rest of the house after you left.
Oh my God. We'll do this some other time, but I think it's time to wrap up. It's been an hour show. Thank you guys so much. Wish you and your family a very, very happy Easter, and for all who joined, a very, very happy Easter. We're gonna do an outro, and if you have any comments, now's the time to put them down, and it'll be also great for all of you watching. Tell us where you're watching from as we do a little outro and we go. So let the comments come. And Ronnie, you gotta learn some finger picking. What are we playing? Let's see. Let's go into. Let's see. Well, no, I'm doing. All right. What am I doing? I am playing it. I'm just doing a simple finger picking pattern, and I'm. Okay. Inka says Happy Easter. Happy Easter, Inka.
Happy Easter, Inka.
Happy Easter.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's go back to the main panel. It's for the three of us. I don't need to have the spotlight on me. I'd rather be there with you guys. So happy Easter to everybody. This has been really, really great. Signing off to you and yours and your family. Have a fantastic celebration. And we will catch you next week on the live check-in. See you then. Thanks, Ronnie.
See you guys. Bye-bye.
We'll catch up after this, all right?
Sure, of course.
All right. See you then.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Bye-bye.